Welcome to the July 2nd organizational meeting. Would you please recite the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance
To the
to the
flag
flag of the United States of America and
and
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So our first order of the agenda tonight is the administering of the oaths to the newly elected board members. We have 5 of them this evening. Luciano Alonzi, Rebecca Butterfield, Blanca Gonzalez Parker, Benjamin Goes, and Judy Slack. I'm going to ask each of you to please read your oath aloud and then sign it and then return it to me via email or mail, whichever is convenient for you. Mr. Alonzi, would you please start?
Sure. So, I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of board member according to the best of my ability.
Thank you. Dr. Butterfield? Oh, you gotta unmute yourself there, doctor.
Sorry. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of board member according to the best of my ability.
Thank you. Mrs. Gonzalez Parker?
I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of board member according to the best of my ability.
Thank you. Mr. Goes?
I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of board member according to the best of my ability.
And Mrs. Slack?
I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of board member according to the best of my ability.
Thank you. And I'd like to remind each of the board members that you need to read and sign the school board ethics guidelines. And if you could either email them back to me or mail them back to me at your convenience. The next item on the agenda is the election of the president. May I have a nomination for the office of the president?
I nominate Seema.
Seema, does anybody second?
I'd
I
like to
second.
Okay. Do we have another nomination? Okay, if that's it, all in favor to elect Seema as the board president?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Okay, 9-0. Seema, can you read the oath that should be attached to the agenda? If not, I can email it to you.
Sure, 1 second. Oath of office for president.
Yep.
Yep, I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of the President of the Board of Education according to the best of my ability.
Thank you. I'm going to ask you to sign that also and send that to me at your convenience. And I'm now going to hand the over to you. Thanks.
Thank you, Linda.
Thank you, Linda.
Thanks, everybody. Next, we'll have the election of the vice president. And so can I have a nomination, please?
I would like to nominate Gloria Toll-Hilt.
Who is a second?
I second.
Is that Rebecca?
Yes. Yes.
And do we have other nominations? I nominate Ben. Okay, Ben goes. Is there a second?
I second.
Second. Other nominations? All right, so there's Gloria Tohill and Ben goes. So do we text you, Linda? That phone number?
Yes, if you can text me. I don't know if they want to, sometimes they'd like to give a little
Speech.
as to why.
Okay. Gloria, would you like to speak to why you'd like to be vice president?
Was that to me, Seema?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yep, Gloria.
Yes, I'm very excited about having our new members on. I'm looking forward. I know this has been a very, very difficult year, but we have some very important issues in front of us, issues that I'm very committed to and very excited about working on. I'm happy to serve as vice president if that's the will of the board. I'm also very happy to support Ben if he's the choice. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to sit on this board.
Okay, Luciana, would you like to speak? I'm
Ben.
sorry. Ben. I'm sorry. I can't see anybody's faces. I have to fix my screen.
Yeah, I already touched on some of my qualifications in my initial email to all of you. I think that at this point, even our newest members and certainly our veterans on the board know me, what I'm about, how I operate. I work hard, I contribute a lot. I take every task seriously, whether that's offering feedback on draft letters or minutes, reviewing financial reports or proving textbooks. I try to be transparent with my thinking on all the issues that we face, even when I know the vote won't go my way, just to kind of, improve the board's overall thought process. And, I think I get along with pretty much everyone on the board and in district leadership. So, I think I'm a strong person for SEMA and the board to lean on in these difficult times. That's true whether I'm elected or not. I think Gloria would make a great vice president as well. I think the real choice is maybe a difference in philosophies. I tend to like change and favor a more active board, and Gloria usually recommends more restraint. Both approaches I think are valid. Which one we choose is up to all of you.
Okay, thank you, Ben. Okay, so I think, does everybody have the Linda's phone number to text their vote to? Should have gotten an email. Linda, did you get 9 texts yet?
They're coming in fast.
Okay.
Trying to keep up
Thank you.
without duplicating.
Did you get mine, Linda?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I emailed you.
All right, let me see. Did not get yours yet, Judy. Up there you are.
Okay.
All right, got Judy's. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I got 10, so I'm counting somebody twice. Hold tight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let me try this again. I got 10. Boy, the pressure is on. I'm sorry. Okay. I got Gloria. It's like close. I have 5 votes for Gloria and 4 votes for Ben. So Gloria, it is.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Gloria.
Thank you.
Congrats, Lori.
Okay.
Thanks, Kelly.
All right. So next on the agenda, the appointment of officers. Letter D. So we have appointment of district clerk. The recommendation is Linda Livingston.
Hey,
And-
Seema, do you need to do the oath of office for the vice president?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry to
I
interrupt.
I apologize. I need to fix the screen. I can't see anybody. Okay.
No worries.
Gloria, do you have the oath in front of
I
you?
do. I
Okay.
do.
Sorry, go ahead. I
I do
apologize.
solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Vice President of the Board of Education according to the best of my ability.
Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, so letter D, appointment of officers. We have appointment of the district clerk. The recommendation is Linda Livingston. And the appointment of district treasurer, the recommendation is John Rizzo. Number 3, the appointment of deputy treasurer is Linda Livingston. The appointment of the tax collector is John Rizzo. And the appointment of claims auditor is Donna Drujinski. Can I have a motion to approve the appointment of officers?
So moved.
Oh, and the appointment of attendance officer is, I guess, the principal for each designated attendance officer. Sorry, so Gloria, and then do we have a second?
I second.
Rebecca? Okay, any questions? Yeah, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, passes 9-0. Next is other appointments. And I'm sorry, I'll go back for a second. Linda, do you guys do the oath separately and then add them to the minutes?
Yes, that's what
Okay.
we just did, and then I add them to the official minutes.
Okay, thank you. Next, letter E, appointment, other appointments. So we have the appointment of legal counsel. The recommendation is Honeywell Law Firm. The appointment of medical director, the recommendation is Dr. Warren Silverman. The appointment of school physicians, we have Schoolhouse, Road, Pediatrics, and Capital Care. And then Ellis Works in Access Compliance. The appointment of auditor for annual audit is the recommendations Weston Company. The appointment of internal auditor, the recommendations Questar 3 BOCES, recommended for district's internal auditor. The appointment for the bank reconciliations, the recommendation is for Joy Pearl. The appointment of district-wide DASA coordinator, the recommendation is Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum Instruction. The appointment of building DASA coordinators, the recommendation is for elementary school principals, middle and high school principals, middle school house principals, and the high school assistant principals. The appointment of local education designee for asbestos management, the recommendation is Assistant Superintendent for Business. Next, the appointment of Medicaid Compliance Officer, the recommendation is John Rizzo. Then we have the appointment of the American Disabilities Act Coordinator. The recommendation is Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources. Next is the appointment for the automated external defibrillator. The recommendation is the Director of Health, PE, and Athletics. Next, the appointment of health insurance. The recommendation is Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources. Next is the appointment of trustee to Capital Area School Health Insurance, and the recommendation for this position is Assistant Superintendent for Business, and in his absence, the School Business Administrator. Next, the appointment of trustee to statewide excess insurance coverage. This recommendation is for the School Business Administrator. Number 16, the appointment of central treasurer. The recommendation is the principal or his or her designee. Number 17, the appointment of extra classroom activity funds faculty auditor. The recommendation for this position is school business administrator. Number 18, the appointment of attendance officer. The recommendation is for each principal. Number 19, the appointment of purchasing agent. The recommendation is assistant superintendent for business. Number 19, the appointment of, did I just do that? Purchasing
No,
agent.
deputy.
Oh, thank you. Appointment of deputy purchasing agent. The recommendation is Norma Hennis. 21, the appointment of records access officer. The recommendation is the superintendent for human resources. The appointment of records management officer. The recommendation is Kelly, I'm going to mess this up, Zurakowski. The next, the appointment of officer to administer civil service law. The recommendation for this is assistant superintendent for human resources. 24, the designation of section 504 compliance officer. The recommendation is the director of PPS. 25, the designation of Title IX and ADA and harassment compliance officer. This recommendation is assistant superintendent for human resources and the assistant superintendent for business. The designation of an ethics officer. The recommendation is the superintendent. Appointments to the board of registration. You can see the list here. 8 individuals. I can read all of them. 28, the designation to approve the appointment of impartial hearing officers. This is the board, the recommendation is the board president, vice president, CPSE, board of education liaison. And lastly, the appointments to this committee on special education, and the following are listed there, and you can read them on the agenda. Oh, sorry, no, there's a couple more. Sorry, scroll down to number 30. The appointment to the Committee on Preschool Special Education. The list there. The appointment of surrogate parents to be available for an advocate is Elaine Person. And lastly, the appointment of independent evaluations. The recommendations are listed there in a list. So can I have a motion to accept 1 through 32?
So moved.
Gloria?
That was Barbara, but I'll second
Sorry,
it.
Barbara, second. Gloria?
Yep.
Any questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 9-0. Next, letter F, we have authorizations for, let me see what this is. We need a motion to accept the authorizations for, we have petty cash amount, petty cash control, register cash amount, designation of signatory for self-insured workers, designation of insurance carriers, the resolution concerning attendance, and authorize superintendent to appoint employee on a temporary basis, authorize superintendent to sign tutoring agreements, resolution to signatures on various claims, and the appointment of staff member to certify payroll, appointment for budget transfers, authorize check signature, authorization to pay claims in advance, and grants in aid, state and federal. Can I have a motion to approve these?
So moved.
Gloria, second.
Second.
Ben, any questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passes 9-0. Next, letter G. Can I have a motion to approve the official undertakings, bonding of personnel?
So moved.
That's Barb. And can I have a second?
I'll second.
Judy, a second. And any questions about this? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, passes 9-0. Next is letter H, designations. We have the designation of our official newspaper is the Altamont Enterprise and or the Daily Gazette. or the Times Union, and then the official bank depositories. You can see listed there's Key Bank and the list below. The official bank depository for tax collection is Capital Bank, and the designation of regular meetings, see attached Board of Ed meetings calendar. Can I have a motion to approve these designations?
So moved.
Rebecca? Second, Judy. Any questions? Yeah, all in favor?
I,
Aye.
Aye. Passes 9-0.
Seema,
Yep.
I'm sorry. I'd like to abstain from that one.
Who was that? Rebecca?
No, it was Blanca.
Oh, Blanca, sorry. Okay, so that passes 8-0
Thank you.
for letter H. Thank you. Next is other items. We have letter A is a purchasing policy. You can read through that. Letter B is school board meetings. And letter C is school board ethics policy. Can I have a motion to approve these items?
So moved.
Ben? And second?
second.
Judy, any questions about this?
That was Gloria.
I'm sorry. Second, Gloria? Any questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes 9-0. And lastly, designation of board committees and school building liaisons. So we have the liaisons listed first, and so we want to make sure we have a liaison in every building. So
See, I'd be happy to do Linwood. I had looked and last year Pine Bush wasn't covered it looked like it only had one. So I
Okay.
put that, but there are a lot of people for Pine Bush, so I'd be happy to do Linwood instead.
to do Linwood, okay. And what about Altamont? Can someone serve as a liaison? Who did we have here? With Kelly and then, oh, Judy, you just picked that. So Kelly, do you think you can do liaison for Altamont?
Yeah, sure. Yep, Altamont it is.
And then we have Gilderland Elementary. Rebecca, you listed that. Barbara, Kelly, and then I also did. So Kelly, you just took one.
Yep.
Rebecca or Barb or myself. Do either one of you want it, or I can take it?
I don't have a strong preference. I just was there the last few months.
Okay.
So if you have a greater preference, it really doesn't matter.
All right, I'll put you there for right now, Rebecca. We'll see
Okay.
where it lands out, where it shakes out. Next is Pine Bush. There's a whole bunch of people. Judy, Gloria,
No, you
Blanca.
can take me off of that one now.
yep, Ben, Barb, and Luciano. Luciano, you put that as your second choice. Would you be okay with that?
I'd be fine with Pine Bush.
Pine Bush.
I'd also be fine with the high school too.
Okay.
If someone else prefer Pine Bush.
Seema, I would love Pine Bush if that's possible.
Is it Blanca?
Mhm.
Okay,
I
thank
keep
you.
forgetting you can't see me. I'm sorry. I'm like waving.
I apologize. This has never happened. And of course, when I have to really see everybody. So Luciano, you'd like high school rep?
Yeah. that's cool.
Is that okay with everybody? I don't see if anybody else has that. What about the middle school?
I'm happy to do that.
Likewise, be backup if needed. It's Blanca.
Okay, so Blanca, you'll be the alternate for Farnsworth.
Great.
And Gloria, you'll be the liaison. Can I have an alternate for the high school?
I like to for the high school.
Ben? Okay. An alternate for Pine Bush? I can do that. I'll put myself there. An alternate for GES?
I'll be the alternate for GS.
Kelly?
Okay, yep.
And an alternate for Altamont.
Do that.
Oh, I can do that.
Judy? Okay.
Yeah.
And lastly, an alternate for Linwood.
I'd like to
You can do that, Emma.
There you go. That's fine.
Is that Rebecca?
Yeah.
Okay,
Seema, we didn't do Westmere.
thank you. Let's see, where's Westmere on here? So we had do this on two different people. Who put down Westmere?
Then goes to,
Ben, do you want to stick with Westmere?
yeah, that's fine.
Okay. And an alternate for Westmere?
I'll volunteer for that.
Luciano? Okay,
Yep.
thank you. So you want me to read them over to everybody?
That'd be great.
Okay.
Sam, I got a question.
Yep,
I had signed up for the PTA special ed group and
yep, you can stick with that one. And so I think we also need an alternate for that.
I can alternate.
Ben. And then I don't see this on here, the NISBA one.
Oh, the voting, yeah, they're not sure.
Yeah.
That's the next set of,
That's the next.
Okay, thank you. All right, so let me tell you what this shook out to be for the liaisons. So for Linwood, the liaison is Judy, and the alternate is Rebecca. For Altamont, the alternate is Kelly. I'm sorry, for Altamont, liaison is Kelly, and the alternate is Judy. For GES, the liaison is Rebecca, and the alternate is Kelly. For Pine Bush, the liaison is Blanca, and I'm the alternate. The high school, Luciano is the liaison, and Ben is the alternate. For Farnsworth, Gloria is the liaison, and Blanca is the alternate. Westmere, Ben is the liaison, and Luciano is the alternate. And for the special ed PTA, Barb is the liaison, and Ben is the alternate. Does that sound right?
Yep.
Okay. And then let's go to Board of Ed committees. Oh, this is really tiny. All right, so we can do the NISBA voting one first. I see Barb and Judy.
I'm happy to do it, or Barb, if they have the,
Yeah, it may be virtual.
yeah.
Right. So Barb, do you want me to put you down and Judy as the alternate?
I think, Judy, didn't I do it last year? So you can do it this year if you
Oh,
want.
I don't know, we've sort of alternated, it doesn't really matter. If you want to do it, that's fine. Why don't you do it, Barb?
Barbara didn't do it last year.
Or you can do it. I'm fine. And I'll be the alternate.
Okay, so Barb and then Judy. What is the next one? CAPSPA. We have Rebecca, Blanca, and Gloria. Rebecca, would you like to be the delegate for that?
I'd love to.
Okay. And Blanca, would you be the alternate?
Sure, unless Gloria would like to. I don't feel like maybe I know enough to.
Well, it's one way of getting to know people too.
Okay, whatever you advise.
It'd be nice to have some new
Okay,
people there. I mean, I'll be there. I'll be going anyway, so.
Yeah.
great, thanks.
Okay, so I'll leave you there, Blanca. So for audit, we need 3 board members. I see I put myself, Kelly, and Ben.
It's fine for me.
An X, I don't know what that means, but Ben, did you want to stay on that audit?
Yep, that's fine.
And then Kelly,
Sure, it's good.
and I'm happy to stand there unless you wanted it, Judy.
No, I'm happy to be the alternate. I ended up going at the end of the year because they needed somebody. But I'm happy not doing it too, believe me.
Okay. Well, you really sold that, so I'll put myself there. The alternate will be Judy. The next one is business practices. We need 4 members. So I'll go by who put this as first. Where was I? Ben, did you want to stick with this?
Yeah, I mean, the way I war game this, I'm on 3 committees, but I'm okay with that tentatively till we figure them all out.
Okay. Let's see. Gloria, would you like to be on this one?
Yes.
Okay. Luciano, you put this one down. Would you like to be on business practices?
Yes.
And Judy, did you want to be on business practices?
Yes.
And so I'm happy to stay off. I put it as a third, but I see Rebecca, you also did. Did you want to be on this and we could trade somebody out or?
I kind of really want to be on communications, and
Okay.
I'd rather just do 2 if possible, not 3.
Okay.
Two, just two.
Yeah.
So we'll go from here and then we'll see what happens. Can we get one alternate? Sure, go ahead.
I can be an alternate. I was just gonna offer, or if Ben decides he's not gonna do it, I'm happy to do that.
Okay, I'll put you down right now and then we'll
Okay.
continue. Communications, we also need 4.
I'm sorry,
so-
Seema, could you just run through business practices again?
Sure.
Who we picked?
Yep, it's Ben, Gloria, Luciano, and Judy, and Blanca will be an alternate.
Okay. Thank you.
I'll read through all of them at the end. And then communications, Rebecca, you said you wanted to do this.
Yes, please.
Kelly, you said you'd prefer this.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. If somebody else wants to do it though, that's fine, but
Gloria, we have this as first, and there's Judy, Rebecca, we already got you, Luciano, and myself. So we need one more.
Okay, I'll be happy to do that. That could be my second assignment.
Judy, okay. Luciano, did you want to be an alternate for that?
Yeah, I'll be an alternate.
Okay. Alternate, okay. Next is policy. And we also need 4 for this. So Luciano, Barb, where's that? Ben. And let me put that down. Ben, that's you, right? I'm sorry, I can't read across this table that well.
Yep.
I think,
Ben,
yeah.
okay. And then Blanca.
yes.
Does anybody want to be an alternate for that? Because we have 4 exactly.
I could be an alternate, Seema.
Rebecca? Okay. And I also can step in for that. I know that one is more work. CPSE and CSE liaison. Barb, you listed that as your third. Would you be all right to do that?
Sure.
Barb. And I think am I forgetting anything?
there's
the
the
new-
last one.
I don't see safety and health. Seema, is that somewhere else? Because that was my number 1 and I don't see it.
Which one?
Safety and health?
Blanca,
Oh,
that's not a standing
That's
committee.
the standing committee.
That's a committee of many stakeholders that you put your name in for. So
Okay,
it's not in this group.
got it. Will we discuss it later today or no?
Yeah,
I'm probably going to end up pulling a name out of the hat because I think I had 5 board members who said they wanted to do it.
Okay.
So
Seema, we don't have anybody for the advisory for NISBA. I've been doing it for the last few years.
yeah, I was just gonna say, so NISBA advocacy liaison, who put this, Blanca, you put yourself down for that. Would you like to do that? It's not as much work as the other.
No, I can
people.
fill you in, Blanca, on how to do it.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
fine.
And did you want to stay an alternate for that, Gloria?
Sure.
Okay. All right, I'm going to read through this and you can tell me if I'm wrong. So for NISBA voting, the liaison is Barb and the alternate is Judy. For CAPSPA, we have Rebecca and the alternate is Blanca. For audit, we have Ben, Kelly, and myself, and the alternate is Judy. For business practices, we have Ben, Gloria, Luciano, and Judy, and Blanca is an alternate. For communications, it's Rebecca, Kelly, Gloria, and Judy, and Luciano is the alternate. For policy, it's Barb, Luciano, Blanca, Who am I missing there? Is it Ben? Ben and Rebecca is the alternate. The CPSC liaison is Barb. I didn't put an alternate for that. I can put myself. And for the NISBA advocacy, Blanca and Gloria is the alternate. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. So can I have a motion to approve Board of Ed liaisons and committees?
So move.
Judy, a second?
Second.
Gloria? Okay.
No.
Any questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes 9-0. Thank you. All right, so next on the agenda is public comment. Linda, did we have anybody for public comment?
Sorry, no.
Oh, thank you. And then we'll go down to the consent agenda. This includes the minutes of the June 16th, 2020 meeting, the CPSC and CSC recommendations, the personnel action from July 1st, the financials that end on May 31st, and the textbook, which is listed there. And, oh, this goes down even further. Hold on one second. Is that it?
Yeah, that was the consent agenda.
Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Barb, second?
So move.
Seema, oops, Seema, before you vote, I want to point out on the personnel agenda,
Yeah.
faculty manager, Allison Rallier and Kim Buckley should be flip-flopped. Allison should be at the high school and Kim should be at the middle school. So we can adjust the minutes to reflect that, but I just wanted to point out.
Okay, so those two need to be flip-flopped. Any other questions or comments?
See,
I have a question on the personnel agenda.
Go ahead, Ben.
There's two positions for summer maintenance for the butterfly garden. And the last time I heard that wasn't happening this year. Has that changed?
So the program isn't running for students and visitors this year because of the coronavirus pandemic and the closure. However, there's considerable amount of work that needs to be done to upkeep that area, clean up from the winter that's passed in preparation for the future. So we do have two people who we want to appoint in order to do that kind of repair, maintenance, preservation of the space. So we're ready to open for next year.
Okay.
Did somebody else have a question?
This is Blanca Seema.
Yep.
I didn't, at the beginning, I actually tried to abstain when we voted under D for appointment of officers, but you didn't see me. So is it too late to
We can
adjust
make an
that?
amendment.
I
So,
appreciate
so which one is appointment of officers?
Appointment of officers, D,
Okay, so that should be 8-0, and Blanca abstained.
yes, thank
Okay.
you.
Anything else under the consent agenda? Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
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 Passes 9-0. Next, curriculum and instruction information, Dr. Singleton.
Thank you, Seema. The first information is submitted for your information. This is the professional development plan for 2021. This is a required plan annually, and I will ask for your approval of this plan at the next meeting in August. And before I move on, there are just a couple of things that I want to point out about this plan. Obviously, things are a little bit unusual this year. We lost our March Superintendent's Conference Day in 1920, so you will see some items have carried forward simply because we were not able to accomplish our goals during the course of the 1920 school year. A couple of other highlights in there. The first goal section is specifically related to the impacts of the pandemic and needing to provide extensive professional development around remote learning. We also fully anticipate that we will have to do some training and professional development around health and safety at the start of the school year. So that's within the first goal area. continuing with some of the work around literacy coaching, at the elementary level, inclusive practices, co-teaching, and then I would say an expansion of the goal around culturally responsive practices with some deliberate focus around race, racism, equity, and bias. So those are some of the highlights within the plan. And again, I'll be seeking the approval in August for that. And my next item is just some information about the upcoming summer school programs. Yes, we will be running some summer school. Summer school and extended school year programs have been planned for 2020, despite the many challenges faced during the pandemic. As you know, in recent weeks, Governor Cuomo has permitted schools to run in-person extended school year programs for students with disabilities who are dependent upon these programs and the services they receive. Extended school year will operate at Guilderland Elementary School with all distancing and safety precautions in place. Classrooms will actually be large tents in the back parking lot. Students and teachers will have full access to Wi-Fi and technology as needed. Steve Wolf will serve as the extended school year principal, and he has worked very closely with Cliff Nooney, Lisa Knowles, and many others to ensure that all of the guidelines have been closely followed. In addition to the extended school year program for students with disabilities, remote summer school programs have been planned for our English language learners, as well as middle school and high school students in need of credit recovery options. And those will begin on Monday, the 6th. And my last item for tonight, I do want to extend a great thanks to our school librarians for creating and sharing this year's recommended summer reading list. Each year, the district provides a list of recommended titles that may be of interest to parents and students seeking books to read during the summer months. Lists are created for learners of all ages and grades. Additionally, ebook resources are provided for those who prefer or need a digital medium. And all of these lists are posted on our district website on the recommended reading page, and they are shared with the Guilderland Public Library as well.
Thank you, Damien.
You're welcome.
Damien,
Next.
can I ask a question? Sorry, Seema.
Well, go ahead.
Damien, can I ask a question? So are all the summer classes in person?
No,
There won't be
no.
remote?
The only ones that were permitted to run face-to-face are for special ed students. For
Okay,
students with
so
disabilities.
middle
That's
and high
the only
school
one.
will have a remote learning
Correct, right, they'll be remote.
option. Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, next, we have school business information. Neil?
Thank you, Seema. The first item this evening is the annual summary of district cell phone plans and users. I provided that information for you. Across the district, we have a total of 35 phones. They're spread across the transportation department, our maintenance staff, food service director, technology personnel, and district office administration. Our monthly fee is $862.65. We do have pooled minutes across all of these plans, so we're not isolated to a certain number of minutes per phone. And we do have unlimited two-way minutes for our maintenance and custodial staff, and they use that feature quite a bit. Any questions?
Yeah, what is a two-way minute?
It's a two-way radio, so rather than using a cell service to make a person-to-person phone call, it's a direct radio communication. So when we're all on the same site, the high school custodial staff and our maintenance staff is here as well, they can just two-way talk to each other without incurring a cell phone charge.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay. My second item this evening is a summary of the donations that were received during the 2019-20 school year. I'll just go through them briefly. Again, we're very appreciative to everybody who has donated to the school district. The first was a monetary donation from Westmere Elementary School PTA for the purchase of new playground equipment, a violin and a trombone from Janet Jora-Lemon, 8 backpacks and school supplies from School Systems Federal Credit Union. We received a monetary donation from Pine Bush Elementary School PTA for the purchase of new playground equipment, monetary donation from the Guilderland Softball Booster Club for the purchase of a hitting total, a drum set from Lori Palma, a glockenspiel from our very own Dr. Damian Singleton, a physical therapy total training system from Terry Maxwell, Received a monetary donation from the High School National Honor Society for the purchase of updated furnishings for the Student Center, a new laptop from Mr. Fred Schwab, a cash donation from CS Arch to assist in enhancing the remote learning experience for students, and then finally 50 disposable safety masks from Amy and Mike Bibbo. So those were the donations that we received during the course of this just ended school year.
Thank you, Neil. And thanks to all those donations. Any questions for Neil? Okay, thanks, Neil. Next, the Superintendent Information, Dr. Wiles.
Thank you, Seema. My first item, I would like to shine some light on our 2020 Guilderland High School commencement ceremonies, not one, but three. And I want to thank the many people who played a role in each of them. I want to start with Mr. Piscatelli, our high school principal, who just did a phenomenal job leading through this really challenging process of figuring out how we celebrate our students, but also his assistant principals, the rest of the leadership team, two awesome class advisors, Ms. Autry and Ms. Benner, Andy Maycock, who made the graduation video, our technical crew, our maintenance folks, our speakers, and of course the graduates themselves, who all played a huge role in making the three events memorable. Even though we couldn't be together at the CEFCU Arena, I think we were able to recognize and celebrate our students. First at the parade at GHS on June 1st, and then at the actual commencement, which took place at the Jericho Drive-In on June 20th. And then this past Saturday, we had 7 ceremonies in front of the high school where students, graduates were able to walk the stage, receive their actual diplomas in front of their families and their peers. And as I said, it's a year we will never forget. Lots of good work by lots of people. And the fireworks were a hit. They were a surprise and they were a hit. So thank you, board, for allowing us to do that. That's not our typical thing. We all know. My next item, I just want to provide a brief update on our reopening of school work. We are continuing to talk through the challenges of reopening our school in the fall. We are really inundated with guidance and in tools to think about how we do this, but we have our own district steering committee that meets weekly, and then we have several, actually 6 functional area advisory committees. We have one on facilities, one on instruction, one focused on health and safety, another on social emotional learning, another on human resources, and another dealing with all of our extracurricular after school and athletic activities. These groups are meeting through the summer, and their charge is to provide us guidance and advice on our reopening in the fall. The advisory committees contain many stakeholders, including faculty and staff, parents and community representatives. We'll be starting to share information about the reopening in the fall as it becomes more available. But this is all a work in progress. And if I can underscore anything for our community who is listening, we have not made any decisions about the structure of this yet. In the fall, we're doing our homework. We're waiting for kind of key guidance about the amount of distance we have to provide between and among students. So I know there's a lot of buzz around the community about what might be happening, and you need to know that it's all in discussion and brainstorm stage. But more to follow. And then my last item, I just want to share with everyone that we had done a series of surveys with students, parents, and faculty at the end of our school year to gather input on their experiences with remote learning. And one of the questions to all of those, the parents and the students, would they be interested in participating in a focus group to talk more about their experiences in a more qualitative, narrative kind of way. So the item here says we have 4 sessions. We actually have 5 sessions, 3 for parents, 3 for students, 2 for parents. next week on July 8th and 9th. All but one of those will be virtual. We are doing one focus group for parents in person in the LGI using social distancing and so on. So they will be working with a facilitator and a moderator to provide feedback on their experience the past year, but also their thoughts about the future, should we have to use any level of remote learning going forward. So we'll be providing a summary of what we learn right after that's compiled. And we're also working on another larger survey on broader topics that will provide our community members another opportunity to tell us what's on their mind with respect to looking forward to the fall. So a lot going on right now. It doesn't feel like the end of a school year with all the work that's happening, but I'm so appreciative of, we have like 120 people on our task forces, and we had 76 people sign up to be on our focus groups. So people are engaged and interested, and we're really pleased with it.
Great. That's great. Thank you, Dr. Wiles.
You're welcome.
Next, we have board president information. We have a list of NYSBA reference dates. So you can see here when the deadline is for submitting proposed resolutions, then the distribution of those resolutions, and then a deadline for submitting amendments to that. Then the voting delegates is in October, and this kind of leads into the next one. The NYSBA convention is listed as October 31st, 2020. It says they're meeting in New York City. I don't know what will actually happen, but you can see the resolution kit there that shows you how to write a resolution, etc.
Yeah, they sent out a notice to people who have attended, I guess, in the past, and they asked about what their thinking was about going to New York for the 2931, or would they prefer a virtual? So that's still up in the air, I think. I haven't heard anything since then.
Thanks, Gloria. I guess I'm sure they'll let us know then. And then second, like I just mentioned, the NYSBA convention this fall, the 29th to 31st. I guess as we find out more information, we can find out if it's in person, if it's virtual, and how others can attend. All right, so any questions? Okay, next we have school business management under action. Neil?
Thank you, Seema. First item this evening is the resolution and declaration showing the tabulation of votes cast at the annual budget vote and election that was held on June 9th, 2020, and declaring the results of the ballot. So the first item on the ballot was the school budget. There were 4,906 votes for the budget. There were 2,524 against the budget, so that did pass. In terms of our bus purchase proposition, there were 4,681 votes for that and 2,729 against. Again, that item passed as well. In terms of our board candidates, Rebecca Butterfield received 5,376 votes. Judy Slack received 5,322 votes. Benjamin Goes received 5,214 votes. Blanca Gonzalez Parker received 5,089 votes. And Luciano Alonzi received 4,868 votes. So as a result of those tabulations, we had three-year terms, and they go to the top three vote getters. So Rebecca Butterfield, Judy Slack, and Benjamin Goes get the 3-year terms. The other two candidates, 1-year terms. So that's Blanca Gonzalez Parker and Luciano Alonzi. So congratulations to all of you.
Okay, can I have a motion to accept the resolution and tabulation of votes? Gloria, and second?
Rebecca.
Rebecca, thank you. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. It passes 9-0.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the bond resolution authorizing the purchase of various school buses. This was in tune with the ballot item. So the voters approved $983,300 for the purchase of 7 replacement school buses, and as well as a 60-passenger wheelchair bus. This does require a roll call vote from the board.
All right, can I have a motion to approve the bond resolution?
So moved.
Barb,
Second.
second?
Second.
Second, Judy. Okay, any questions?
Yes, it's Blanca.
Yep.
Julie, so these buses would be purchased for what school year?
They'll be purchased for next school year, 2021 school year.
Okay.
So we do the borrowing in July typically, but the first payment doesn't become due 12 months from that. So it'll be July of 2021, which will put us in the 21-22 school year. So we're actually going to borrow in this school year, but not have a debt payment until the following school year.
I'm thinking about, you know, the forecasts for the future in terms of budget, and I'm concerned that's going to hit us right there. So that's why I was asking the question. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So Linda, do you do the roll call vote for this?
Yep, you ready?
Yep.
Mr. Alonso?
Aye.
Miss Dr. Butterfield?
Aye.
Mrs. Frederico?
Aye.
Mr. Goes?
Yes.
Mrs. Gonzalez Parker?
Do I say nay or oppose?
Nay, doesn't matter, either one. Nay. Mrs. Person?
Yes.
Dr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mrs. Slack?
Yes.
And Mrs. Tolhill?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. So that passes 8-1. Okay.
Okay, next item is capital construction bid award. Resolution is to award contract 2 for electrical work prime contract to Archon Electric, the low bidder meeting specifications.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve the bid to capital construction?
So move.
That's Judy. Can I have a second?
Second, Blanca.
Blanca? Okay, any questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, passes 9-0.
Next item is a recommendation to appoint Gervin and Filazzo, PC, to provide special education legal services for a 3-year term beginning July 1st, 2020.
Can I have a motion to approve the special ed legal services?
So moved.
Second.
Barb, second, Judy. Any questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 I'm going to abstain, Blanca.
Okay, so any nays? All right, so we have, it passes 8 with 1 abstaining.
Abstention.
Abstention, sorry.
May I say why I abstain, just for the record, or should I not? I don't know what you usually do.
You can if you want to.
That would be the public to know that we have a relative at that law firm, so I'm abstaining for that reason.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Okay, next item are service agreements for the provision of programs and services for students with disabilities, and they are with CDB Connections, St. Catherine Center for Children, and the Wildwood School.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve these service agreements?
So moved.
Gloria, in second.
Blanca.
Blanca, okay, any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, passes 9-0.
Okay. Next item is college and high school agreement with the University of Albany, and this would be for next school year.
Can I have a motion to approve the agreement with the Albany?
So moved.
Judy? The second?
A second. Kelly?
Kelly? Thank you. Any questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes 9-0.
Nope, abstain. Sorry, I should have unmuted. Blanca
sorry.
abstained. Due to potential conflict of interest.
Okay, so we have 8 yays, is that correct, and 1 abstention? Okay, thank you.
Next item is an internship agreement extension with Ithaca College to provide students with internship and practicum experience.
Can I have a motion to approve the agreement with Ithaca College?
Blanca,
Blanca, yes, second.
Second.
Gloria? Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 9-0.
Next is an internal auditing agreement with Questar 3 BOCES. We're asking you to approve the intermunicipal agreement for those services for the 2020-21 school year.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve the agreement with Questar 3?
So move, Rebecca.
Rebecca, a second.
Second.
Kelly.
Barb? Any questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Aye. Passes 9-0.
Next, we have a number of bid awards for our school lunch program. The bid awards are for fresh bread products, further processed commodities, groceries, milk and dairy products, and paper products, disposables, and cleaning supplies.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve the school lunch bid?
Yeah.
Kelly.
Rudy and second Kelly. Any questions?
Sure.
No, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 9-0.
Then finally this evening is the first donation of our new school year. So we have a donation of a trellis from Julie McGrail.
Okay, can I have a motion to accept the donation?
So moved.
Ben, want to do a second?
Second.
Judy, second. Okay. Any questions? Just thank you to Julie for the trellis. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes 9-0. Okay, thank you, Neil. Next, under superintendent action, Dr. Wiles.
Thank you. I just have one action item this evening, and it is the request to approve a memorandum of agreement between the Guilderland Central School District and the non-instructional supervisory and other management personnel unit and our food service director, Megan Beck. And as you'll recall, this is a amendment that allows us to expand Megan's current work year from 11-month to 12 with a commensurate increase in her salary, as discussed last time we were together.
Can I have a motion to accept the MOA?
So moved.
Ben, second,
Rebecca.
Rebecca, thank you. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes 9-0. Thanks, Dr. Wells. Next, under board president action, we have, I have one item here. It's the establishment of voter registration dates and locations for 2021. You can see the attachment here that has the buildings listed where voting would take place, hopefully in person. And can I have a motion to accept these locations and registration dates?
So move.
Judy?
Judy, thank you. A second.
Gloria.
Gloria, any questions or comments? We're all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 9-0. Okay, next on the agenda, we have board committees. Nobody has anything to share, right? We just decided what they are. And the second public comment, Linda, is there anybody that emailed for public comment?
No.
Okay, thank you. And then lastly, we have board issues, ideas, and sharing.
Seema, I sent out a letter to people. I don't know if they got to read it. If everyone got to read it, I sent it out today, an email asking that we consider pulling the handbook that we designed a couple of years ago off the shelf. We had said we put it there for a while, that this might be a good opportunity since we've been a couple of years now. We have some new members, plus we have a couple of members that have never seen the handbook. This might be an opportunity to maybe pull that out, distribute it to the 4 people that didn't have it, and maybe use this summer. It's not a great read, but an opportunity for everybody to kind of go through it, mark it up, raise questions, whatever, and that then we can come to some agreement in August about trying it out for the year. And then I mentioned in the email the possibility of just about approving every spring, just raising the question, are we satisfied with the guidelines we've set? Remember, these are guidelines, these are not rules. They're just suggestions. And they do come from NYSBA. Many of them were pulled from the NYSBA prototype handbook that they put out, so best practices. Just it's just a suggestion. We might want to do that now and then see how it goes. And then every spring, just raise it and say, is there any issues that come up? Is there anything we want to change? Because we do that with many plans.
Right.
Safety plans, professional development plans. And this is an important thing that we need to do for ourselves as a development.
Do you have the latest version, Gloria, that you could email to everybody?
Yeah, I think Linda had. Linda. Is Linda there?
I think Deb Sim has it. She and I
Deb
spoke
Sim
about
has
it a little bit today.
Because she put it together in a binder.
Yes.
And I think it's Rebecca. Rebecca would need it. Kelly, Luciano, and Blanca.
But you're suggesting, Gloria, that we all look at it though?
Yeah, that over the summer we all pull it out. If you lost it or put it aside, it was in a binder. But if you've set it aside somewhere and can't find it, I'm sure Deb can.
Look at that. Kelly
send another one out. But if we all commit to kind of looking it over the course of the summer, as I say, it's not long, but make notes if anything's unclear or if you have questions or if there's something we want to change, and then we can discuss it in August and get it and start using it.
Thank you. I'm glad you brought this up again. It sort of gets put in the recesses and we forget about it, but I think it's a good idea.
I'd be in favor of that.
I'm good with it as long as it's actually reviewed and there's a date on it, so we kind of know when last time we reviewed it, because I know a lot of things change.
Exactly.
Yes. I think it's really important to maybe review a couple of chapters every couple of months or the whole thing in the spring. It's hard having an additional regulation or whatever on top of all the ones that we have. It's hard to keep up to date. But if you do that, then I'm up for it. I think it has a lot of good information in it.
And I just want to emphasize, and Gloria already mentioned this, Kelly, that they're just guidelines, but they're helpful to us as a board of how we function. Does anybody else have any comments or questions about the handbook?
I'd very much like to read it.
As someone new, I think it would have been very useful and will be useful.
Okay, so we can get a copy then to all the new members. And if you already have a copy from before, then we can set that as a task to review it for our August meeting to provide any feedback. Does that sound good, Gloria?
That sounds great.
I agree.
Thank you.
Any other issues, ideas, and sharing?
Yeah, could I just say thank you to the senior class again? What a lovely gift they gave to the school, or they didn't give it to the school, but from them. And Marie, I don't know if you have more information. I don't have my information right in front of me, but I was really touched to see that. It was a very generous and thoughtful gift.
Well, I spoke with Danielle and Brenna at graduation, and she talked about how the class leaders got together to think about how to spend this money that they raised that couldn't be spent on other kinds of traditional end of year activities. And I'm just, as they were enormously proud of our seniors who decided rather than spending money on, photos on lawn signs, they wanted to give the money to a cause that truly needed it. And, I know that's hard to do, but it was selfless. And that's kind of what we want in our students. Just awesome.
Will you just say what it is so people can hear what in fact they donated to?
They donated to a COVID-19 group doing support. Of course, didn't pull it up right in front of me here.
Oh, okay, I didn't mean to trick you into something. I just thought it was such a wonderful generous gift.
I think it was a relief fund.
It's a relief fund, and of course, I'm not going to find it right away, but it was totally altruistic.
Yeah. And wonderful.
Yeah, speaks so highly of our students.
Yeah.
And our community who raise them.
Yeah.
Other ideas or issues or sharing? I have one, but I'll open it up to everybody else first.
Do you want me to read it real quick, Seema? What Judy just brought up? It was for the COVID relief, and it was a pretty big figure. It was $5,609.06 to the Capital District COVID-19 Relief Fund.
Wow.
Yep, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Special class for sure.
Yeah.
Any other ideas or issues sharing?
Yeah, I'd like to hear a little bit about the conversation with the young lady that wrote an email about racism in Gilland.
That was a powerful conversation. There were, I think, 4, Marie, or 4 or 5.
I think it was 6 young
okay.
ladies.
In the end,
There
it was
was
6 young women, and then you, Damien, and then there were 3 board members who got on. But my role, I felt, was to listen, and I learned so much. You know, there's so much that happens that we are so unaware of, that I felt, you know, having, they were students back 8 years ago, maybe. But I know as a teacher, you know, there's so much we miss. We don't know what's going on. And just hearing some of their stories, some of it was heartbreaking, because, you know, we have our ideas of how things are going. And then you hear from a kid who's now grown up, what it was like, how difficult it was for them, and some of the issues they had to deal with that we were never even aware of. It made me feel even stronger about making sure that we have ways of communicating, that we have open communication, that we provide people that will listen and that will validate what students are telling us. It was a powerful hour and a half. I think we were all talking on the phone. I did a lot of listening and learning from these young women.
I thought it was so courageous of them to come forward with their individual stories. And it really was empowering in terms of like action item, things that we can do going forward to kind of rectify some of the problems that they mentioned.
Do we have a collection of their thoughts, of what their thoughts were, like written down someplace, so we can kind of take a look at it and see if it's possible to implement, or if we want to implement, or is it,
so Kelly,
send it out maybe?
Kelly, they were at the end of the update on Monday.
Oh, there was a list. Okay, I didn't notice it.
It wasn't a list per se, but I took a ton of notes while we were talking, and I tried to capture all of the main points,
right,
and as many details as I could, and direct quotes, because I know, you know, it was kind of a last minute thing to get more board members on, because I didn't hear back, and I felt strongly that we should, you know, honor their choice there of how big of a call they wanted this to be. So,
okay.
And, you know, Rebecca and Gloria and Barbara, if I missed some details, you know, I'm happy to add to them, because I also shared the summary of that call with our leadership team today, because they also need to know, you know, what the experience of these former students was, so that we can do better going forward.
I think, you know, if I were to sum up, like in categories, what they talked about, Kelly, it was curriculum. Curriculum was a big one, right?
Yeah.
Faculty professional development. So how better to handle situations where racial inequity come up. And then policy. Right. And policy, right? Like, so the comment at the end about seeing the Confederate flag on campus, I mean, that's a policy decision.
But also the whole idea, what came strongly through to me was a number of them spoke about having an equity official or someone kind of focused on this equity question, that's where their eyes are and that's where their ears are. That's what they're attuned to, because it can get lost. And I thought that all of the young women spoke strongly about our need to deal with that, or to have someone in position to make this a focus of their work, to keep us all moving forward.
I think it has to be an ongoing thing. And the idea of having a volunteer or not a hiring per se, and that's it. I'm not going to hire somebody to do that exactly right now, but I think we need to continue doing it even after things settle down. If things settle down, I hope they don't, because I think things need to change dramatically. But if we put something in place where like somebody comes back to us in 6 or 7 months and be like, hey, remember that email, or remember these initiatives, here's where we're at, or here's where we're going. Might be important to just identify that. But I think there's a lot of work to do. This isn't the
Yes,
the moment, but
it was very clear that there is a lot of work to do.
I mean, I think, Gloria, I know you talked about having a committee or something like that. I think you did a while back. Talked a little bit about it. Maybe it's time to form something made of parents and teachers and students and administrators.
Yeah.
Something
I think one of the things the girls spoke to also, a number of them spoke to, was the idea of having conversations that, you know, within classrooms, within staff, you know, about our feelings. You know, white people need to talk about this issue. I'm reading the book. I'm halfway through the book, White Fragility. It is a powerful, powerful book. If anyone gets an opportunity to read it. But I think those girls are right. This is all our issue. And we all have to deal with this if we're going to make things better, if we're going to make this world a better place, and Guilderland specifically. And there's so many dimensions to this, but we have to, you know, grab on and take some steps.
Maybe it's the opportunity to create one of our ad hoc committees or something like that we talk about.
Can we make a motion for that now, or do we have to wait?
Yeah, I don't know. How does it work?
Well, I think, you know, if I feel strongly that we should create a group of stakeholders that represent our school community and perhaps the community at large, to think about a more comprehensive plan on how we address this issue, thinking about things like recruitment and hiring of professional staff, our curriculum, professional development, policy work. So if we would like to do that, I would love to do some organizational work around that between now and our August meeting, so that we could perhaps, you know, appoint an ad hoc equity committee, or whatever you want to call it, that could begin work, you know, shortly after we have this crazy start of our new school year underway. You know, the other idea that I feel we need to explore is this whole idea of an equity officer who can serve not only as an engine behind this task force, but also, and Damien talks about this a lot, as a liaison to students, as a resource for students to go to who may not feel like they know who to go to when they have been on the receiving end of some racist comment or experience. So I would love to explore how we could do that, given our current circumstances.
In one of the emails, it might have been that one, they mentioned another school district that was leaning forward. Was it Shen or?
Niskayuna.
Could we communicate with them somehow, and we don't need to reinvent the wheel if that's.
I already have their job description.
Yeah, I've been in contact with them as well.
Yeah, well, I'd love to see that.
And this ties into, I guess, my board idea sharing is that, well, first, I think it's a great idea, but I don't think that should be the only thing, because I know I've seen equity officers, I feel like at schools and universities, and it ends up being the people who are interested. I'm not saying this will happen, but usually the people who are interested, you know, are the ones that are coming, and the ones that could maybe use some help are not coming. So I know that several of us went to like a goal setting webinar earlier in the summer. I know Ben did, I did, Gloria, you were there too, right? Online. And I was thinking, well, we talked, you know, before I don't know when, I don't remember. It's like 5 years, I feel like, in the past few months. We talked at some point about setting goals for the year so we could check in halfway and then check in at the end of the year to see what kind of progress that we made. And I think this is probably heavily tied into that.
Yeah.
So, because what I worry about is the people who are interested and on board are already on board. And the people who are not, I feel like the work has to be tied, like if we set the bar that this is a goal of the district, then it's easier to, I guess, set that tone for the expectations in the district. I don't know what you guys think, but I was hoping that maybe in August we could have a goal setting meeting.
I like that idea. I mean, like we did the last time, but it was partially through the year. We kind of identified some of the things we were all, highly interested in, but I think that would be a great idea in August. And set, a goal for the year in terms of, and we're not going to solve all the problems, but at least what step are we going to take this year? And even if it's design the task force and lay out a plan for that, and then that task force then lays out a 3 to 5 year plan kind of thing. But
Seema,
Yep.
can I just share a couple of quick updates?
Sure.
One, Amy Horalchuk and I have been exchanging ideas and resources and all kinds of things for a number of weeks now. We had a chance finally to get together this morning and literally just do a bit of a brain dump and put all of our thoughts on the table, because we're both taking some steps to address some of these problems in different ways. She has a group at the high school that she's working with. I'm part of that group as well. I'm trying to line up some additional professional development over the summer. So we had a chance to get together this morning and put together kind of a roadmap for what we think would be some logical next steps that we're going to share with Marie tomorrow morning and a few others about how we can get the ball rolling and officially get the ball rolling. It's great to have goals, but we need to act as well. So we're looking forward to sharing that. And I would hope that, in the August meeting, we'd be able to report to the board where that landed and what we are hoping to accomplish. The second thing I think I shared with you during the last board meeting, that we were awaiting the delivery of the book Stamped, which arrived Tuesday evening. Last night they arrived. So I have copies for all of you that you can either come pick it up at the district office if you're over our way, or I can send it to your home. So they are here.
it was available electronically.
It is available
Got it last
electronically,
week.
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you can access it electronically as well. Just keep in mind, there are 2 different versions of Stamped.
I saw that.
Yes, there's one that is a far more expansive edition, and then the one that I'm going to ask you to read is one that we're actually going to put forward to the board for approval for use in high school courses. So it's really, it's a student leveled book for high school students. So you can look forward to that, and you can get an advance read, and that will be your own copy of the book.
Damien, did you say that the books are already there on at the district?
Yes, they're in my office. I have them.
Are you going to send them out to us, or?
It's your call. I mean, if you want me to mail them to you, just shoot me a quick email and I will do that. If you're able to get over to the DO to pick it up, just let me know either way and I'll accommodate.
Awesome.
So
Thank
Seema, it's Blanca again.
Yep.
It sounds like there's a few folks interested, Ms. Horalchuk and Damien and Kelly and myself. And I just wonder, we're in July. Do we want to lose the momentum? It's a contemporary issue right now. Is it worth it to start working on this and forming a committee, at least to brainstorm or something before we have the goal setting meeting? Just posing that question to the group.
Yeah, and the goal setting could be in July also. But it sounds like the district is already doing some work, which is awesome. And of course, yes, it's current right now, but it should be continued. I think I haven't heard from everybody, so I don't know how everybody feels about it, but I think this could be tied into our goals. They're already doing the work. We've been talking about this, but to have some measurable goals, at least for us. I'd love to hear what other people think.
Yeah, I think that, I don't think the momentum in the, not just our community, but across the country even is going to die down. I think this is pretty firmly in people's minds and hearts right now. So if we can get somebody who's already working on it, Marie or seeing the people who are already doing something, let them come together and have some ideas that they bring forth to us, I think would be a good idea.
Yeah, I think we've got to remember that our role is really to provide the the opportunities, the support, the encouragement, set the direction, point the way, and then rely on a lot of our experts within the district and the people that they draw on to help us, plan the exact steps.
Seema, I just have a question.
Sure.
Being on that phone call was eye-opening for me.
Mhm.
Would it be possible, or would it be helpful for the rest of the community to at least see a summary of some of the concerns that the young lady shared? Things that we never even think about that these students shared, I think would be eye-opening to a lot of people.
I mean, I wasn't on the call, so I don't know, Marie, is that something that, I don't know the details of what was mentioned, but I read the original email, so I'm just trying to think how it could be shared and what way.
Could it cause harm to the students if it was a painful memory or experience, or could it in some way stigmatize them?
No, I don't think that would occur. I think they want this information out. Things like the guidance that they get from their guidance counselors. And I think Rebecca pointed out the curriculum and what is lacking in the curriculum. They really want this information out there. And I think one of the goals that we had, when we discussed things for next year, was communicating with the public and letting them know, what some of the concerns are in the community, how we're working towards addressing them, and just a general awareness, so that the public is aware that this is a problem. I have to confess, I certainly was thrown for a loop with some of the things that happened to these young ladies. Granted, it was 8 years ago. Maybe things have changed a little bit. I don't know that. But still, they were powerful statements that, deep in your gut, are wrong and they need to be fixed.
So tomorrow morning, we're meeting with Amy Perrott, our communications specialist, to kind of brainstorm. We'd like to have a page, one of those main pages we have with current events, like right now we have one on COVID and we used to have one on the budget. We'd like to have a page like that that's just about our work around equity. So tomorrow morning at 9, we were going to brainstorm, what could we put there? What should we put there? So my feeling about a summary of the email and also my notes, if you didn't read the summary of the call, I would want to get an okay from these young ladies to say, here's what we'd like to do. I'll write up a summary, or Amy can, and please take a look at it before we make it public. Probably would not use names of anybody. I mean, they used names of current staff. I don't think that's appropriate to be, in a document like that. So those are my thoughts about if we were to make that experience more widely known, I would want their seal of approval on it.
I mean,
also, you wouldn't do names or the year of their graduation or anything like that to, for blind concerns, to zero in on them, so to speak.
Right. I would just say recent graduates.
Right.
I mean, Barb, I think you bring up a good point, because I would see that as, none of that stuff surprised me. So I could see why we would do work like this. But if you're saying, and then that means probably other people too, surprised or, I guess shocked about some of the stuff that was shared, it might help to show why, where this is coming from. Really, like, if they're not in tune to what's going on, I don't know why they'd question it, but it would help show, like, specifically in our school, this stuff is happening and this is why. we're taking it on
Right.
this way.
I have 2 points I'd like to make, or opinions. One, I agree with Barb that I think it's useful information. And I agree with Marie that the students, in my opinion, would really have to be okay with it because it goes beyond names and graduation dates. There could be a set of circumstances that the classmates are aware of. And, you know, word gets around. So as long as it's not embarrassing to them or harmful to them in any way. And then I have a sort of another comment. I just hope that no matter what we do as a board, that we reach out to community resources, because it seems to me that this has been identified as a problem or an area of growth. And so it's an area of growth that the district needs to do together, all of us. So I'm hoping it's not going to just be all of us working on this. We have so many resources in the area, you know, community organizations and such. I hope this is an opportunity to reach out to external stakeholders.
Blanca, if I may, that is a major emphasis of what Amy Hiralchik and I have proposed. You know, I would say we view this as certainly a school district exercise, but we really view it as a community-wide exercise, where the work has to engage stakeholders who may be outside of the school, who may be supportive of the school district, but may not have a direct role as a parent or a student or a staff member, but are certainly a contributing stakeholder in the community.
Great.
Any other comments or questions? I didn't hear from Ben, Luciano, Rebecca about the goal setting, or Kelly.
Yeah, I mean, I would just echo Blanca and your point, Seema, that, you know, our next meeting's August 11th, which is, you know, 42 days away. So, you know, maybe there's room in July to fit some of that stuff in.
Yeah, I think the goal setting is a great idea. It's something every organization should do.
Okay, so
Seema, I'm all in favor of it. I really enjoyed the goal setting meeting a few months ago. I think it'd be good to have some objectives, like actual objectives for the year to go along with each goal, but it sounds like that's what we've already been talking about.
Okay. Gloria, if it's okay with you, maybe you and I can talk about it, but I'm thinking just to send a doodle out first and
Try to get a date.
yeah, to get a date and time for everybody to meet, and then maybe you and I can talk about how that would look, or that would, yeah.
Sure.
Any other board issues, ideas, or sharing?
I have an idea.
Yep.
So I think it was last week or so, I read an article in the Gazette, and it was about Niskuna's board. And they have a unique, I guess you could call it like a program, but they have 2 students who serve as like essentially non-voting board members. But so these students apply and they're chosen, and they get to go to board meetings. They get to contribute a little bit, but they get to see kind of the process of how we do things and contribute when needed. And they also get to kind of report back to other students, and they bring a student's perspective to the board. I thought that was a really unique idea, and I thought maybe something we could emulate in Guilderland.
Yeah, I brought it up a few years ago, and I'm still in favor of it. I don't know who was on the board with me then, but I guess they weren't. But I'd be in favor of looking into that.
Okay.
I don't know how others feel. If you want to think about it.
Yeah, I mean, I believe that requires a vote of the community on the next ballot to create that position. You know, right now we have a high school liaison who just comes in and reports what's going on, but to have a non-voting member requires a vote of the community. And you know, as I've mentioned before too, I'm supportive of that move.
So we already have a liaison though? And is it 1 or 2? And does it change every year?
Yeah, the high school rep, they just come and they share like what's happening at the high school, kind of like an update. But then they leave. It's just one of like the reports of the board meeting. But I think this would be different. This would be them participating in the board meeting and not voting, but probably be giving us more insight into, we have more of a connection with what's happening because we'd have more time, with the student.
I guess my only concern would be like executive session.
No,
No, they don't go
they
into
can't
that.
go
No,
there.
they wouldn't go to that.
No.
Any other comments, or want to talk about this, or does everybody want to think about this for a little bit, because it's something that has to go up to the community and
It's a year
telling
away
you-
now since we kind of missed the last opportunity. So
But we can do our homework. We can
next
do our
May.
homework.
We'll look at putting
Yeah,
two-
one issue I draw attention to is how these student reps are chosen, selected. There's a variety of ways to do it. The administration can pick someone, the students can vote, the board can vote. And I think it's important to consider that carefully, because that almost determines what kind of
Information.
voice we get from the process. So off the top of my head, I can't remember if that needs to go on the ballot with the proposition. But it's not as simple as just saying, yeah, let's throw a student on there.
I think it would be a good idea. I don't know if policy or communications, if one of the subcommittees could kind of take the charge of this to first look into it, and then to see, the parts that we'd have to consider. We obviously have time, but we need, to think about it. So, you guys think policy, would that make sense to go to that group?
I think so, Seema, because the
Okay.
our policy is what outlines our board operations and membership and such.
Student.
I don't know how Niskiuna said, so I'm wondering if it's tied to their the social studies class, public policy. If it's in any way, does the rep come from the senior class in there or the junior class? Or?
I'll have to read the article. I think how they did it is they had students apply, send in kind of like a cover letter and maybe a resume. And then they chose based on that, I believe. I'm not sure. I could look up the article. Maybe I could send it in an email to everyone so everyone can kind of see what it's like. And we can kind of develop our own process.
And we could contact their board too and just ask.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, any other board issues, ideas, or sharing?
Seema, this is totally unrelated to what we've been talking about.
Sure.
And I guess it's just sort of a general question as we go into the next school year. Some neighbors of mine had kids that went to private schools, and they still had to, at 8:30 in the morning, show up in front of their computer with their uniform on, or at least their shirt that could be seen by the computer. And they were in class from 8:30 to, I think, 2 every single day. This was like Albany Academy, and I heard, other schools in Massachusetts that I've heard about in Connecticut did the same thing. And yet we did not do something like that, that the teacher actually taught it as just as though they had their whole day planned as usual. Now, I don't know if we, because we're a much larger district, don't have the technology to do that. We were certainly surprised that the poor teachers couldn't even get their materials out of their classroom. But is that a possibility if we have to go to remote for next year, that the teacher just teaches a full day just as they normally would? Do we have the technology to do that? I don't know, but I do know that a lot of the private schools from day one, they were in class as they usually were in front of their computer, 8:30 to 2 or 2:30, whatever it was. And so their education really was all remote, but it was continuous.
So
Thoughts on that, Marie?
Well, I thought Damien wants to jump in here. He's got a task force of 20 people working on this very thing.
I have comments too.
Yeah, and I'll
me too.
just
London.
say, Barbara, it's not a technology issue at all, but I do think there are some varying opinions about whether it's effective to have a student in front of a computer screen from 8 to 2. There are very adverse effects of that as well. So I think there's a balance that we tried to strike. so that we ensured students had opportunity to simply play, be kids still, without being planted solely in front of a computer screen for 6-7 hours straight. So, you know, there's a lot of discussion that goes behind that. I don't think it's just a matter of trying to replicate school in front of a computer screen. I think it's much more challenging than just that. But we do have a group that's looking at that, and we'll think about, you know, what are the best practices and what's in the best interest of our students as we go forward.
I have
And
something to
Barb, I
say.
just wanted to add that, I mean, Damien's right on point, and I'm on the technology subcommittee for the Reimagine Council, and so obviously it's being talked about everywhere, but equity is also an issue, you know, so to expect the student to sit there when there's actually connectivity issues still, you know, I know we, you know, right now at least all have access, but access is an issue still. So I think, you know, we'll let that group talk. But I, you know, to the point where I heard somebody say they were calling it techquity, like technology and equity, like you can't think about the technology piece without the equity. So, and like Marie said, I think there's groups already talking about this.
I have an opinion, but I'll let Kelly go because she looks like she's going to burst.
Oh, yeah, no, I was along the same lines. I think it's, we can't expect how many thousands of students that we have to have high-speed internet and computers and webcams. We just can't. It's just not, it's not fair to expect that. The first thing we did was increase our internet and pay gobs and gobs of money each month because we can, but no, there's no way that other people, I just don't think it's equitable to even suggest it.
So I have an opinion.
Yeah.
I'm also about to burst like a piñata. I think they missed the mark at that school because it goes against, you know, the basics of childhood development where kids need to squirm and learn at their own pace. And also, I think along with the technical stuff, I don't think that we sometimes take into account that right now I'm letting the viewers and the board into my home. And if we're expecting that of all of our children, we're expecting that, or of our students, we're expecting that of their families. And everybody's family circumstances are different. And we have a major, major spectrum in terms of socioeconomic status in the town. And what does that do to those kids who are already marginalized because they have trouble accessing? If we're, you know, we're inviting the rest of the world into their home to see about stuff maybe they don't want their peers to know about. I have a real problem with that. As it stands, I think the school day in general needs a lot of work in terms of when it starts, when it ends, and how long kids have to sit for, those expectations. So to me, totally misses the mark. My 2 cents.
I have one more comment on that. I'm sure Rebecca would probably agree. The ability for children to go to school, it has the ability for us to have more insight into abuses and things like that are going on at home. If they're stuck at home all day on a computer, we're missing an opportunity to maybe assist children that are in need of assistance. But there's all kinds of committees, I'm sure, that are dealing with that. That seems like an obvious thing. So.
Well, that is a big sacrifice, Kelly, when you go online. The ability to provide supports and services to English language learners, students with disabilities is greatly diminished. So I would be very, very concerned if our sole, you know, approach was in front of a computer for that extended period of time like that.
Yeah, I can speak as a
Didn't mean to
student.
slam you.
Sorry. No, but I agree with everyone. Like the best thing for kids is to be in school. Unfortunately, I don't think coming up that's going to be the option for everyone. I mean, if kids get sick, right, they're going to have to be home. And to Barb's point, so we're talking about 2 things, like synchronous learning and asynchronous learning. So I had experienced this with Penn State. So some classes would meet like at the same time that they met regularly during the semester. And so that made it easier for the professor and it made it easier for the class too, because you just kind of got used to going to class around the same time. So maybe like that could be an option for students who are sick and can't go to school for whatever reason. I'm not sure it's something we want to force kids to do, but it could be a good option, you know, in case kids can't go to school.
Okay. Any other board ideas or sharing?
Seema, I just want to point out that this is probably our last virtual board meeting because the executive order for the need to be virtual ends on July 6th. So hopefully we'll be back in the LGI socially distanced on August 11th. So
That's awesome.
thought you'd all appreciate that. I know I missed the LGI.
We're gonna have to limit it to the first 50 people that come, though. I'm sure there'll be a line at the door.
Yeah, right.
All right, so can I have a motion then to move into executive session
So moved.
to speak about a contract? Oh, sorry, I'm sorry, who said that?
Rebecca.
Rebecca, can I have a second?
Barbara?
Barbara? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 9-0. So I think you got another link for executive session, so you can hang up on here.
Okay.
Aye.